no issues at this point.
Yeah, no complaints yet or
Right.
anything, yeah.
Yeah,
It seems like they were out in front of it early this year, kind of talking about it and letting people know what they were gonna do.
yeah. One major complaint that I have,
Okay.
and I have not gotten a lot of traction other than from workers within Fish, Wildlife and Parks, the signs that direct you to leave the road and go to the cleaning station, they say contamination, decontamination. What they're using on the boats is just hot water, 140-degree hot water.
Oh.
I'd like those to say cleaning stations.
People are turned off or afraid of, yeah.
Yeah, they don't want their boats contaminated. Well, they're not. It's just mussels, and we clean you when you come out of the lake, so you can go somewhere else. I think cleaning would be more honest and more positive.
Yeah, yeah.
So I know that's not under the senator's
Yeah.
purview, but I thought I'd share it just the same.
Yeah, I know that we sent a letter to Secretary Zinke actually at the beginning of the year asking for some more money out of the budget to help Montana with this issue. I don't know where that's at. I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not, but I know that Fish, Wildlife, and Parks is asking for more because they're afraid that's going to become a more expensive problem, which probably will.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll probably see more of that coming in the next few years, for sure. I heard that CenturyLink has been here.
We actually, our internet,
Yeah.
as you know, has been horrible.
Yeah.
Blackfoot came in with a proposal
Oh,
from Missoula,
yeah.
and the result has been that CenturyLink has picked up their game, and so has Montana Internet,
Oh,
and so has Zayo. That's dark fiber. We have a
Oh,
freeway
yeah.
going right
Oh.
through this county that they haven't let us tap into, and now they're saying, maybe we'll let you tap into it. So what
are
we
those
have,
Are those the Touch America? Those are the old Touch America lines.
Yep.
Yeah. And they're gonna let you use it.
yeah, at this
Wow.
point, yeah, we don't have anything signed yet, but we have two companies saying, hey, we're working with Zayo.
Okay. Because about a month.
Blackfoot is one of them.
Oh, good. So about a month ago, I spoke with CenturyLink about some hot spots, and Townsend was one of them. And they said, "Oh, we're going down and meeting with the commissioners, like the next week or something, right?"
Yeah,
And so, did they update you on their build-out plans?
they did, yes.
Okay. But that only covers certain parts of town, right?
Well, all of
Or-
them do. No one has said, we're gonna cover the whole county.
Yeah.
What they've all said is, we're gonna start in Townsend and kind of work out from there. And each one
Okay.
has a different plan for that. So, yeah, it's, we'll
That's
take
good.
what we can get for Townsend
Yeah.
and then know that the rest will be coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Blackfoot, what is their plan? Where's their area that they want to?
Just Townsend,
Oh, just Townsend.
right? Yeah. So, yeah, all three of them have a little bit different plan, but what's great for us is, we don't wanna get in front of any one of them, because what we want is all these companies being competitive right
Mhm.
now to try and fight for our business, so
Yeah.
we're kind of in the driver's seat,
That's really good. That's nice.
it's about time.
Yeah. Blackfoot, I think, we work with Blackfoot a lot because they're a smaller telco. But I know they've done a lot of projects, from Missoula all the way up to the reservations and stuff. So
Yeah,
that's great that you got them to come over.
right? Yes. What we're trying to work with them right now is fiber. What they've been
Yeah.
proposing to us is 50 megs, which
Mhm.
isn't quite enough,
Yeah.
and a hop-to-hop system, which doesn't work for 911 services or phones. So if we can get them to do wire or copper, and up the gigs, then
Yeah.
that could be a real winner for our community.
So they're not gonna lay fiber?
That's not the plan. We're hoping to change that. They kind of have something cooking. They're trying to work with Zayo.
Okay.
So, I think they're working on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And CenturyLink are they using their CAF $2 to,
That's their plan
Hit-
for the whole community
for the whole
in
community?
a year to two. But they're the only ones that have the community-wide plan at this point.
Yeah.
Montana Internet kind of covers the whole county,
Yeah.
and they have a plan with Winston and one with Toston, but that's as far as they go at this point.
Yeah. And they are offering new satellite internet?
Fiber.
Or fiber? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Oh, and then Treasure State Internet is the other one.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Well, it would be nice if you guys could get fiber.
yeah, it's essential.
I hate to see people digging and putting in copper because it's sort of outdated. I mean, it's not outdated. I know the companies will tell you that they can do enough with it, but you might as well put fiber in if you're going to dig
Exactly, yeah,
and do all the right of ways and do all that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're hoping for too.
Yeah.
That's what we require, I think. To do anything less than that is gonna put us right back here in a year or two saying,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have adequate internet. So we're trying to make
Yep.
sure that what we do now is the right thing for the long term, not just the right thing for today, cause it's easy.
Yeah. Well, CenturyLink should be putting in fiber, I would
Yeah.
think. Hopefully.
That's their plan,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, but I know they have a lot of builds already on the books. So that's probably why they said 1 to 2 years, right?
Well,
Because
that was
they're
just for
currently
the
working-
outlying areas,
Oh.
August
Oh,
for
good.
Townsend proper.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and
That's good.
Montana Internet is July for Townsend proper, so,
Oh, that's good.
yeah.
That's great. How are your, I guess, relationships with your federal agencies? Bureau of Rec, I know they're doing some things.
Good, good. We have a partnership, of course, with them with the silos.
Mm-hmm.
And, we do have a master plan. We have our first meeting tomorrow. And they're going to be involved, but everybody's putting up money for the match except for BOR.
Oh,
We've only asked them for 5 to 10.
yeah.
It's their property. We feel
Mhm.
that they should have some skin in the game, but they said their budget's too tight. So, I don't know if there's anything you can do, but you should know
Yeah.
that that's an area of, upset with a
Mhm.
lot of our planning folks, a lot of our community development folks, Chamber of Commerce, Broadwater Development, Missouri River Marketing, all those groups.
Mm-hmm. 5 to
Um,
10,000 or million?
10,000,
Okay.
right, I know.
Sometimes
it's
I have to
very
ask
little.
when we're talking about money like federal funding. It's
Yeah.
you just assume it's in the millions. It's just zeros.
Right.
Like,
And their budget is so big. But we just worked with them to acquire some property in the county. We have a golf course, a softball club, and a rod and gun club that used to be county. Years ago, we gave it to Bureau of Reclamation, and they worked with us about a year ago and National Park Service to put that property back in Broadwater County's name. So
Oh, okay.
we're on the very end of that.
yeah. So are they giving? So they're transferring it back, and then are they kind of releasing all their any responsibilities, maintenance, and all that? Yeah.
Yeah, and hoops and,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Who are you working with at BOR on the silo?
Lee Holmes. And of course, everything has to go through Billings and then through Denver,
Yeah.
yeah.
You guys are meeting tomorrow about that?
Yes,
That's too bad they couldn't.
they've put it on their radar for their next budget, but we're kind of feeling like, you know, that this is an obligation we think they should take more seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's their property, it's pretty difficult to get things through, everything takes, parking lot took us months
Yeah.
to get, not even paved, I mean, just okay to use a field. So, it's, you know, to get a gazebo, so now we're on year 2, to replace a falling down gazebo with a new one. It shouldn't be that long, it shouldn't be that cumbersome,
Yeah.
so,
And how much is the county putting into that?
all of it,
They're paying for all of the project. Okay.
yeah,
Oh, that's too bad.
and just the master plan at this point, so it's $50,000, $25,000 match.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Any new development or businesses? I just heard her say something about subdivisions. So that's exciting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm glad you're here. Well, we have a Family Dollar coming in. We have Felco
Okay.
coming in. We have some other businesses looking at us. We have a tech company looking very seriously at us. Helena College is gonna have a campus
Oh, that'll be
with our high
nice.
school. Yeah,
That'll be nice.
so we have some really great things kind of cooking
Yeah,
right now. The PSC
yeah.
and solar,
Yeah, that's not good.
No.
This last week, is it?
no.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything you guys can do, but we had 2 solar farms looking at our community, $30 million investment that would have really
Mhm.
helped with the economy, with jobs.
Mhm.
I
Let's
think
see,
it's-
is this Kavula, does Kavula reach, no, who do you have?
Koopman.
Oh, Koopman.
Yeah, I will
He's
tell you.
very difficult. He's very difficult.
I guess he had some quotes in the paper that are pretty offensive.
Yeah, somebody picked up, I think, some things he was saying on the mic.
Right. Oops.
Yeah, I read that and I don't know, my expertise is more on FCC and telecom issues, and so I'm not an expert on solar, but I do know in the commission, I know who to ask when I want to answer about something, or I want somebody who's really gonna like look into it, and it's Travis.
I
I mean,
figured.
sometimes you don't always agree with him, but he usually knows, he usually like reads the advisories and he knows what's going on. Koopman is, I know, very knowledgeable on telecom issues, but he's very free market. I mean, he really believes in like zero subsidies, things like that. So it doesn't surprise me that he was on the opposite side of the solar issue. But I don't know, I wasn't following that issue before, but it seemed like it was sort of a surprise that they came down with that decision. Like all of a
Yeah.
sudden they were like, we're eliminating all the credits for this, so you had 2 projects that were
Uh-huh.
coming here? Yeah, and I know people across the state had other projects, and now all of a
Right.
sudden it's like Montana's closed for business.
Exactly. Yeah. Which doesn't serve anybody.
No, I don't know. Have you guys sent a letter to Koopman?
No, I guess there's some things kind of cooking on that.
Okay.
I do know Travis does his homework.
Yeah.
He's open-minded to learning, to
Mhm.
gathering facts rather than emotions.
Mm-hmm.
I have a great deal of respect for him and the work he's done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, is he still the chair? PSC?
I think Travis might have gotten voted out of the chair. And I can't remember who it is. I'll have to look. But yeah, I don't know very much about that. I had seen it in the newspaper. But there's so many other things. Russia, the Affordable Care Act,
Right.
the state's budget. I mean, there's like so many other things that sort of gets buried, I think. But I can do some digging and find out what it really means. Because if you guys had 2 projects, that's really sad.
Yeah, it's a big deal for our community.
Well, and I'm assuming that tech company you were talking about,
Mhm.
what carrier are they going to be relying on? For
It's
broad-
not defined yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because I would think that would be a big issue for them.
yeah. The solar, you mean?
No, the tech company.
Right, absolutely. They have a partnership with one of them, and I can't say
Okay.
too much
Okay,
yet, but it's very exciting.
that's good. So they already are working with the provider. That doesn't
Mhm.
seem to be a problem.
No.
Good.
No, they've had a good relationship for a while.
That's good. That's very good.
We have 2 of our old historic buildings are in the process of being rehabilitated.
Oh, that's exciting.
It's very exciting.
Yeah. What are you going to use them for?
One of them is going to be a youth center,
Oh,
and
good.
the other one I can't say yet,
Oh,
but
that's
it's very
exciting.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. Are
something
they
we
here
don't-
on they?
One is, and one is just a block off.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's great. Good. What about prison post, incarceration, those sort of issues? Seems to be one of the hot issues for all the counties right now.
Yeah, on so many levels.
Mm-hmm.
The legislature, I'm sure you're aware of this, voted to, without any public conversation, without any
Mhm.
public action, took a vote during executive session to transfer the Board of Crime Control from administratively attached to Department of Justice to a bureau under the director and a bureau chief of Department of Corrections. So what we lost was about $330,000 for juvenile detention centers in the state. We're trying to protect juvenile detention and alternatives funding right now, OJJDP Title II funds. Not sure about that, what's gonna happen to those. We are working with US Department of Justice, and they've given us the all clear on our JAG funds, which
Oh, good.
fund drug task forces in the state. That's it. That's the only assurance we have at this point. So it's an area of a very strong concern.
So why did you lose money when you moved it to under Department of Corrections?
Because the law, the Omnibus Crime Control and Safe Streets Act,
That has to go to DOJ.
well, you have to have a board that's autonomous and a policy and decision-making board.
Oh,
This changes the board to advisory,
oh,
and now we don't comply with the federal act. So
I
it's
guess
about-
I missed that. Whose idea was that?
Lou Jones and Representative, starts with an O, Osmondson.
Huh.
Oh, and Representative Brodell.
Okay, so why did they want to move it to over underneath Department of Corrections?
Nobody knows. We can't get an answer. There was no public discussion. I mean, literally, these
Weird.
decisions were made in 30 seconds.
At the end.
At the
yeah.
end, that wonderful Senate Bill 95.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to protect about $30 million for the state, and nervous. Counties are nervous. The victims, witness advocates, county attorneys, law enforcement, are all pretty much on board as far as being pretty
Mm-hmm.
uncertain of the future.
Yeah.
We're one of 5 states in the nation with a juvenile alternative pilot program in Kalispell, CRIJ.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping to keep that protected and unsure at this point.
That's interesting. I wonder
Yeah.
what the rationale is for that. Because it's not like the state's saving money.
Well, our guess is, the guess of a lot of us in the law enforcement realm is the JAG funding for drug task forces doesn't have a lot of parameters around it, and what happened in California when they did this is they reverted those funds to corrections programs. And the state then paid for drug task forces. I think it'll be put to counties to fund drug task forces. And then the other thing is the
Yeah.
general fund to pay for personnel.
Yeah.
If you just wrap Board of Crime Control into corrections, then you can cut personnel and cut costs.
Mm-hmm. And I know that the folks at HIDA have been very worried about cuts. And I don't know what district covers your county? Is it like drug task force?
Missouri River,
Is there, yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like your drugs stay within your county, right? I mean,
Right.
it doesn't make very much sense
Right,
to-
without it,
to silo it into your county and then expect
yeah,
somebody within your county to take over that, you know.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
the smaller counties just couldn't afford it.
Yeah, and that unfortunately is like where I think a lot of the production and the distributing takes place in some of the smaller counties, right?
Yeah.
Because there's not as much oversight.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I know I talked to Brian Lockerbie last week actually about HIDA. He didn't mention that to me. We were talking about HIDA and we were talking about opiate and substance abuse issues. But it's good to have, some people, it's good to have, I think, Board of Crime Control underneath DOJ. Makes
Brian's
more
on our
sense.
transition team. He
Oh,
has
good.
been magnificent.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, so he knows a little bit more too about what's going on,
Yeah.
some of the concerns.
Interesting. Huh, I did not know that transition took place. I probably did, but probably wasn't told what that would do. But that's good to know.
It's one of those things that'll be fine until it isn't, and then
Yeah.
we've got a train wreck.
Yeah. Well, if there's anything from the federal side you think we can be helpful with, although it's difficult because now we have to look for funding for you maybe other places because U.S. Department of Justice funding may not I don't know how that would trickle. We'd have to figure out a way to get it to you if you're going to be in a different department.
Yeah.
Possibly. I don't know all the ins and outs, but.
I don't either, and it was mentioned that we should reach out to the congressional delegation on this, so I guess that's just for your back pocket at this point. We may be contacting you guys here shortly and
Okay.
ask for some help. What that'll look like, I don't know,
Yeah.
but.
So
again,
California's done
$30
this? Did you say that?
Yeah, it was a train wreck. It was a debacle.
So they moved it back?
Mhm.
Okay.
2003, they moved to, they did exactly what we're doing, but just with 2 programs. The whole thing fell apart. They did a statewide justice realignment in 2012 and moved their state administering agency, which is our Board of Crime Control, under the governor's office. So now they're back to be an autonomous policy-making, decision-making board.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So one more thing with the Affordable Care Act.
Okay.
One of the areas that counties were able to get some protection and some savings with that isn't talked about very often, but is substantial to our budgeting, are detention centers.
Yep. So because you're able to give them Medicaid, yeah.
Exactly.
So obviously
It's
that would
huge.
go. That would be gone. I
Right.
mean, that would be, because the rules that surround being able to enroll them in Medicaid, right as they become incarcerated, or what is it, incarcerated or probation?
Incarcerated.
Incarcerated.
Yep,
That would go away.
right.
And it would also, I'm assuming that those folks that are going to be incarcerated would probably be the last priority. If the state is given a block grant, the state has to cover, like low-income seniors, disabled folks, and low-income children.
And that's right.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, right? But if they're gonna try to cover everybody like they're covering everybody right now, my guess would be there would be no, yeah. That's a good point though, because I know I can't remember how much the state saved last year. And I'm sure you guys saved a lot of money just being able to get them on the rolls right away, provide them treatment and bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If 86,000 was the number we were using when we were advocating for Medicaid expansion, MACO.
Mm-hmm.
There was an example of one man who committed a crime so he could get locked up because he needed some heart surgery. Got that because he had been, he was a inmate. But we shouldn't have any of those examples.
Yeah, that's really too bad. That's too bad. So how is your, you feel like you have enough capacity in your jail, and, cause it seems like everybody, like I know Helena, Great Falls, they're all running out of room so quickly.
Yeah.
And because it takes so long to process people out of the system, and it's so
Right.
costly.
Yeah. We're doing pretty good.
Good, that's good. That's really good.
Our sheriff has a new plan for this year, so I
Oh,
think,
good,
yeah, I think he's got a handle on it.
good. And do you guys utilize the crisis inpatient mental health center in Helena? Yeah, that's a really good program.
Yeah. They need more funding too.
I know, they need more funding, because they're not full all the time, and so, I know, I talk to them frequently, very frequently. So anyway, so nothing else, no other like concerns or questions about what's going on the federal level?
No, we've been watching PILT, of course, SRS,
Yeah.
ACA. I think the USDA rural development is big
I know.
for us. Yeah, I know you do.
Mm-hmm.
What my fear is, and I expect this will probably be what happens, but like with the PILT, there's a lot of counties that use their PILT to balance their budgets. If PILT
Yeah.
is cut to that extent, there's either going to be counties going broke
Yeah.
or laying off a lot of people. And I think once that starts happening, the outcry is going to be so much louder than we hear today that would be reverted back to what it lawfully
Mm-hmm.
should be, or closer to what it lawfully should be.
Yeah,
but you
well,
need to see that happen.
well, and at the same time they're doing that, we are under a hiring freeze. The federal government's under a hiring freeze. And so, you know, your roads and your hunting camps and your trails, there's probably no maintenance happening because they can't hire more staff. They can't send out new contracts. And so that's just at a standstill. We've heard lots of complaints about Forest Service roads this spring. And we called the Forest Service and they're like, yeah, it's on our list, but we are down 3 people, we can't fill them. So that's, and so with PILT plus that, plus SRS or who knows, it's all just kind of compounding.
Yeah,
But yeah, so you guys, I just saw, so you guys are getting about 663,000 for
Yeah.
PILT. And I don't know what it will be. I mean, they said like a $70 million cut, so maybe 50% cut.
that would be a hard hit, especially when it's counties that make up so much of that Medicaid match
Yeah.
with nursing homes.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
a chunk.
If you have to reduce your reimbursement rates by 40%, I don't know how any nursing home in Montana could stay open.
And then what do we do? We're not the type of people that let people go.
Yeah, it would be really bad. It'd be really bad. So what do you guys use? What's important that you guys use your PILT money for? Just going.
We do match for our nursing home, the IGT program. We help fund, we have, of course, the building, capital improvement plan. It's a
Mhm.
1935 building. Most of it's going to update the detention center because that is such hard use.
Mm-hmm.
We use it for law enforcement to afford vehicles, vests,
Yeah, those are expensive.
weapons, ammunition. We took 50,000 out this year and plan to do that long-term as a fund for the sheriff to use in a way for his department that honors Deputy Moore.
Mm.
And then we also fund CASA,
Mm-hmm.
and then we use it for unexpected situations. So when Deputy Moore was killed, we put 50,000 aside to pay for all the costs associated with that. The year before, we had rescued horses. We used PILT
Oh,
to
sure.
pay for their care for 2 years
Mm-hmm.
while they were used as evidence in the system.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we use it for. We don't use it to balance the budget.
Mm-hmm. But I know a lot of other counties do.
I know, yeah. Oh, we pay our insurance, comes out of PILT.
Okay.
So, yeah, 50% hit means some things aren't getting paid for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So, and you guys aren't in drought or considered drought yet, are you?
No,
That's good.
that's bad. Yeah,
Yeah. That's good. So, well, thank you. I appreciate the time and hope you guys have a good summer and
thank
have
you.
some good events going on. And I'm glad that you guys have some internet folks that are interested in coming. That's good.
I'll
That's very
keep you informed too, since that's your area of expertise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I'm just happy that you have more than one
Yeah.
person down here. That's good.
Yeah, it is. We're lucky right now.
That's really
It's nice
good.
change.
Yeah, and if you have, when you get new businesses or something, we'd love to send a note or something to them
Okay.
when they. Sometimes we do that. If it's like a new business, new to the state or new to the area or something, send them a note.
All right.
So
Cool. Yeah.
okay. Well, I'll go next door and pop over there. Have they been able to fill Deputy Moore's position?
It's advertised right now, but we had 2 deputies also leave us. One of those has been filled, and I think the other 2 are on the verge.
Okay.
Yeah, they're advertised. I'm not sure where they're at as far as interviewing.
Yeah, those are tough positions. Everybody, I think, is in the same boat.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, but it was nice meeting you guys. I haven't met before, so maybe I'll see you at Mako or before then. Definitely. So we'll see what August recess has to. If we have an August recess, I don't know. we'll see.
Well, thank you now.
Yeah.
Well, if the senator would like to come and have lunch again, we have some new restaurants we'd love to show him.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not sure what August will look like. I'm not sure if they'll get a recess or not.
Right?
So
Yeah.
they're talking about maybe not having a recess. So I don't know what's gonna happen. And then of course he has to harvest too.
course.
He has to get harvest in. So that we have to figure out how to get all that done in August. So we'll see. Yeah, but I'll definitely keep you on the list. And we have, yeah, I know we have a couple businesses that are on my list in the area
Oh, good.
as potentials. So in school, I know we had gotten an invitation from the school too. So that'd be good. Are they in the end of August?
Yes.
Back in?
Yeah, but don't ask me the date.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, well, thank you all.
Thank
Have
you
a good rest of
very
your
much.
summer.
You too.
Yeah. Good luck
Appreciate
to you. See
everything.
you.
Is there anything in this Mako County assessment?
Yes. Going back onto the agenda, Ann Miller and Tim Rickmeyer, I would like to move that we address their issues exactly the same as we are with Becky Brandberg, and then send them a letter of follow-up.
I'd second that motion.
Move and second to handle Ann Miller and Tim Rickmeyers, same as they did for Becky Brantberg. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
So the county assessment, this is Michelle Twiggery talked to you, Mike, I think, about this.
Yes.
Eric Bryson is currently the Assistant Executive Director of Mako, and he is an expert in local government. We are kind of at a point where we need to start planning as far as what we need in the future and looking at some opportunities and some threats that we have. And I only use the word threats because it's kind of part of a SWOT analysis, which is your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. But basically what he has agreed to do, and this is free of charge for us, is to come in and evaluate some of our departments, evaluate and compare what other successes look like in other counties for some of our departments, and let us know some of the things that we can do to be more efficient and use our resources, our money more wisely. So I would like to send an official request to Mr. Bryson and ask him to come and do a county assessment. We don't have to adopt anything. What it is just, this is what I've observed, these are your opportunities, this is what you need to be aware of, and we can adopt from there. And it may very well be that there's some things we need to look at and plan for in our next budget.
And there's no cost on that?
Correct.
I'd second that.
Move second to contact Eric Bryson and do his department inquiries, I guess you'd call it. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
County assessment,
County assessment.
yeah, just like on the agenda. So I have a couple of things before we go, if we're done with mail.
Go ahead, you son.
All right, so, to the budget, a couple of things that I wanted to, add to our list from a couple weeks ago. and asked Debbie to include in the preliminary budget that she's putting together for the 5th. One is we addressed the public safety, district court, and health insurance to move each of those three up to 33% reserves. We forgot about the general fund, so I would like to do the same with the general fund. Same structure, same everything. So we could discuss it, but I move that we also move the general fund to 33% reserves using a CD.
I would second that.
It's been moved to second to, and the general fund, the budget is, the other one's listed there. Any more discussion? If not, go to a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
So the second one is, we have the worksheet that we've discussed a number of times regarding the health insurance. At the beginning of the fiscal year, we have to let the state know how many people are over 30 hours a week, and we put that into a worksheet, and they return with, this is how much you have for health insurance coverage. Last year, after that was all turned in, we had 5 employees, 3 from one department, 2 other individuals that were all hired who got the insurance benefit because they were full-time that were never budgeted for. And that's why at the end of the year, we're looking at a health insurance fund that is way too close to the line with no reserves. So what I would like to suggest and propose is that we inform our department heads and elected officials, if they hire a full-time 30 hours or more per week employee after the start of the fiscal year, that they need to cover that health insurance benefit for the duration of that fiscal year in their budget.
Can that, would that be money that would be, they'd be able to pull from their reserve or not?
No,
Okay.
no. They would have to have that. When anybody comes to us and says, I need more staff, because the first question that we do ask and should be asking is, do you have the money in your budget? And what is your justification? Do you have the money in your budget needs to include, do you have the money to cover their health insurance? Every single department head who came to see us about their budget, we asked, what do you see coming up? What opportunities are there, and what issues do you have? Very few said, I need more staff. In fact, I can't think of any that did. So based on that, that needs to be part of the planning process. And if it isn't, it can't be after the budget's already started, oh, now I need somebody new. That needs to be planned for, and to deplete the county health insurance fund because somebody didn't plan ahead. I just don't think it's good management on our part to let that happen again.
I don't see how they can handle that though.
Then they should wait till the end of the fiscal year to hire new staff, or they should come to us at the beginning when we meet with them in April and May and say, this is what I need and why. And we give either a yes or a no, and that's where we're at.
You're not talking replacing staff, you're talking a new
Correct.
position.
Absolutely. If the staff is already, yes, thank you,
Right.
Ann.
You're welcome.
Not talking replacing at all. This is our, this is trying to think of a department we don't have. This is our vehicle, maintenance department, our mechanic. Comes forward and says, I've got 3 staff now, but I want 1 more. They should have come to us with that in May. They didn't. They waited until September. And what we say in September is, if you've got the money to afford it, then we support that because you've just justified it, but you have to come up with it in your budget. If that same person comes forward and says, so-and-so left, I'm going to replace the position, it's a wash. There's no difference. This is just for somebody who didn't plan ahead enough to come and talk to us about a need or justify a need, just to protect us from getting into this same mess we're in this year.
And Corey's request was to essentially hire a contract deputy position. Is that
If it's a
right?
contract position, they don't get health
But I
insurance,
mean,
they
that's
don't
as
get
far as what he
benefits.
was considered in his budget was a contract person, not necessarily a full-time position.
Correct, he has since asked for a full-time deputy, which is something we can also talk about, and I sent you an email on that. But, that contract position would not be included, because they don't get
Because it doesn't cover
benefits.
any health.
Right, and this isn't, part-time assistance is just anyone making over $30, or working over $30, 30 hours per week. So it's just a protection, if you guys wanna move on, we can. I just, our job is to protect the budget, and that's just a piece of it.
Is there anybody that right now that, or I guess is there any department that anybody foresees as having to add a full-time person? I don't know.
Wins, and we've already taken care of that. I've asked Debbie in a commission meeting, to add one to the, numbers for that formula that is sent to the state to cover that $50,000, memorial fund
Okay,
that we gave him. If he wants to use it for an employee making over $30 or working over 30 hours a week, then he can do that, and that's already included.
okay. I don't know of anybody else that would need any other.
Nobody else came forward. And that is their responsibility in the planning process. We can table that if you guys want. But if somebody comes forward and says, well, we need a full-time employee, we're gonna have to make a tough decision at that point of saying yes or no based on depleting the health insurance fund. So, the next thing is, we've been asked to put signs up in the parking lot behind the courthouse here. Thursday nights, the MRI truck comes in, when people have parked there, and of course you and I were at that meeting, where Pete came in.
Yeah,
When people park there, it puts their cars in jeopardy of being hit by the truck, it puts the MRI equipment in jeopardy of not being able to come in. So, Dana said that we can get the signs, he'd rather that we not pay for them, I said that's fine. Should be paid for by the hospital or combination since it's our parking lot. But, we just need to have an approval by vote for the signs, and then I think what we can do is have Pete tell us what he wants them to say and have Dana order them.
I'll make the motion to acquire signs for the hospital for no parking Thursday evenings. Is that every Thursday?
It's every other, but Pete suggested we do every Thursday so that it's just
uniform.
covered,
Okay,
yeah.
no parking signs for every Thursday due to the presence of the MRI vehicle.
I'll second the motion.
Is it moved and seconded to get no parking signs in the parking lot for the MIR truck when it comes in? Any more discussion? No, move a vote, all in favor,
Aye.
motion passed.
So then the last thing, we got an email from Corey, that he was going to pursue the death penalty. Did you call Brent Light?
Yes, and this is the email that I got back from him this morning. There is no, the state, is that the Attorney General's office doesn't pay anything. And Corey hasn't requested any assistance from them. I guess really the only question I have on that is, and Corey's being assisted by the deputy attorney from Missoula County. So even though the department or the Attorney General office wouldn't pay for anything, would they supply a deputy? Would the state supply an attorney in that case? But
What,
we would still have to fund it?
right,
Even
What-
if the Attorney General's office loaned us one of their guys, we still have to fund him?
no, we wouldn't have to fund him. I talked to him Monday during our housing, right before going in for that. And what he told me is a death penalty case will easily be $1 million to start. I was telling him I didn't know how we'd come up with $160,000 to fund all his requests. He said, you're not even in the ballpark, you're talking $1 million. So just a hearing with one expert, he said you're looking at between $20,000 and $25,000 for that.
And they're not funding that anymore.
Well, correct, and in order to pursue a death penalty case, you have to get permission of the Attorney General's Legal Services Bureau Board. We haven't got that, Corey hasn't got that, so he doesn't have authorization to pursue this. And one of the things they look at is affordability. The Attorney General will send people to smaller counties to help with complicated criminal issues, which this certainly would be. But the county attorney has to request that assistance. It's free, but they have to request it. That hasn't been requested yet. Brant Light said that they would not be giving authorization for the death penalty because it's the wrong kind of homicide. It has to be, and Janaea probably knows this much better than I do, but aggravated homicide versus something else, and this is not an area I know very well, so that's where we're at, is, I haven't read this email, I'd like to, but I'm glad that you reached out to him, because it's good for both of us to have this foundation of information. So, as far as Corey wanting to hire 3 new people for a death penalty case, we're not gonna have a death penalty case. We can get prosecutorial assistance from the Attorney General's office free of charge. Corey just has to request it. So, I don't think we need to worry about that at this
So
point.
would that prosecution help also apply if we don't go death penalty?
Yes,
The prosecution assistance from the Attorney General's office would still apply at no fee?
correct. Because Corey has very little, 2.5 years criminal experience, the Attorney General's office knows this is a constant throughout the state. We're not the only ones. So on any criminal case, any county attorney can request assistance and it's free. If it is a rather simple case, the Attorney General's office will say, no, we think you can handle this one. If it is more complex, they will come in and they will help. A lot of times they will take first chair, and some county attorneys don't like that, and so they don't ask for the assistance. But the Attorney General's office is there to help us, and with the request, we'll come into any county and offer that assistance on a case-by-case basis.
So would they take first chair regardless?
No,
It would have to be at Corey's request that they be first chair.
no, they would determine what level of expertise a particular case needs.
Oh, okay.
So that's the risk that a county attorney makes in asking for assistance from the Attorney General. They may come in and say, okay, we're gonna go ahead and take this case and you can assist us, or they may come in and say, we're just gonna help you from afar. That's their call. So, that's it. Can I keep this, or get a copy?
Yeah.
All right, and I'll give it to you, Ann, for the record. And then the only other thing, this assessment with Eric, one of the things Michelle mentioned, and she said she talked to you about that, is Doug Ellis is an elected official who has 4 different hats of responsibility. Recorder, treasurer, elections, and school superintendent. It's likely that Eric will say, this is a really bad idea. The way it works, there's only 2 other counties that have the structure. It's Missoula and Helena. They're big counties, and that position is just a supervisor of deputies responsible for each of those different areas. Right now Doug is responsible himself. I expect that one of the things Eric will say is, you guys need to address this, this is how you can do it. And it could be one of those where we are looking at another elected official or another position to help with that.
Yeah.
So that's something we probably should at least be planning on addressing. So I think that's all. Oh, and I do have a claim that needs to be signed. If you could sign that, we can get it paid. And Ann will just take that to upstairs. And this, is this why you guys are here? All right, that needs to go to the chairman to sign, and that is for the,
Approval of the wastewater treatment.
thank you.
The septic regulations that we voted
Oh,
on at our
okay.
Board of Health. I forgot to have you guys sign that, so. I'll just have to get Fran to sign it, because I'd like those to go into print either by Friday or
So
Monday
you
or something.
want to take this?
Right, and the reason we're here is for the interview with Sarah. Mike said he
Oh,
would sit
yes.
in on it.
All right,
Okay, so whenever you're finished, we'll give her a call and
Okay.
no rush, I mean.
Yeah, I think we'll adjourn the meeting at 11:55.
all right, thanks, ladies.
Thank you.